say don't let your music go to the grave with you.
Don't let your music go to the grave with you.
That makes sense.
I heard once upon a time that you should not let your music go to the grave with you. Because if you do, no one will be able to hear it. And everyone has music in them. Because why? Or why would we have just music in us that could go to the grave with
Because
us?
I think the universe is made of music. Have you heard of the song of the sea? Like the movement of all the planets, their rotations around the sun when they intersect, like it makes an actual song. So I feel like we're born into a universe of music. So it makes sense. And also music is very mathematic. Like,
So in a way, there's no way to actually have our music go to the grave with us.
no, I think if you get like an idea for a song and you never make it, so you're gonna take it to the grave, eventually at some point some other artist is gonna get that same song.
It's like striking when the iron's hot.
Yes, that's exactly.
And if you don't, you'll lose your opportunity.
Yeah. Like it's along the same lines as like tell your loved ones how you feel about them while you have the chance.
Oh yes, and so you could like take this as a reminder to not let the music go to the grave with you.
Yeah.
Or
music.
be not afraid of making what you want, art, creativity, the food that you would like, different drinks. Like, why hold back? No diet.
Except be vegan. Don't eat animals. Don't hurt anybody for your pleasure. But yeah. Sorry, I interrupted.
Go with that.
Yeah. Just like, don't diet. Like, have the chocolate, have the cake, have the vegan ice cream, have the vegan pizza. I feel like as long as nobody else is getting, like, deliberately hurt or killed for you, like, why not indulge? Buy the pretty jewelry. Take an hour of your day to write that song that you have stuck in your head instead of just, like, thinking it doesn't matter, or like nobody's gonna hear it anyway or whatever. I love how your philosophy on music is learn as you go and leave a trail. Because a lot of people would be like, oh, I have this song idea, but I don't know how to play, so I'm not gonna make it. I like that you don't let that stop you. You're like, okay, I'm gonna figure it out as I go along, and maybe I'll play it again one day, and like, it's inspiring. And you get better too. Every time I hear you play the bass, it's like leveled up a little.
Every time I put out a blank page and you just like touch it, something happens. Like that's like same with when you use your mind on like my device. Make a note. 2 words just come to you. What could they be? At the moment, it's just like that's the record of the time. So you're recording the time by a device, which is a medium.
It's like alchemy.
And then, you know, it's just what's in us. So we learn from it. Everyone does. When it's your own creation, that's why your art is kind of important to like share with the world. You know, and
so
people love it. And I hope people love this. Like I hope people love what I'm trying to do with like creating music and just like do more art stuff and like work, of course, and like, you know, helping my community by like being able to contribute to, you know, shopping and like just kind of messed up with you know, having too many expenses and not enough income. Thankfully we're working together and people can band together, and that's why it is kind of nice that there can always be a following of people like in a sense that want to work together for everyone, you know, having enough and like what needs to be done in the world like right now, like maybe just spontaneity and just like the divine flow of the consciousness of the universe.
People need to feel like they matter too, because I think a lot of times in the workforce, the general message to an employee, whether it's like a server at a restaurant or like a construction person, they always know like they're replaceable. Like somebody else can come along who can do their job as well as they can.
Or like a robot could come along
Or a robot could come along and do their job. But with artists, it's like if I don't make this thing I've got an idea for, nobody else is gonna make it. I'm irreplaceable. And I think that's why they say like don't take your music to your grave, because like if you do, you'll feel like you left unfinished business, and if you don't do it, nobody else can. Like sure, mystically maybe somebody else will get an idea for the same song, but it's not a guarantee. The only guarantee is what you do.
That's why every time I had an idea this year for like something, I did it, like copper wrapping, seeing how electroculture will work in a garden, and I thought the plants did really good, and then I used more copper around the house, wrapping sticks, making them attached with crystals to draw in more energy, and then holding a stick with a copper and a crystal and then even more crystals as a handle is what I came up with for like wands, with like more art, because we got creative with engraving them.
Oh, that was so much fun.
Attaching pendants and charms and really cool looking like designs I started coming up with, and it was just like, oh, look at that medium, a stick. All of a sudden I'm like working with it with sanding and whittling and using stain, and then making different styles of handles. It was just like one thing after another. So
cool.
And then even like getting my journal out and deciding to try to make songs out of it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It was like, oh, I don't know. I've written before, and every time I've written before, it's always been like journal entry and this or that and the other. But now it's just like kind of having fun, seeing what happens.
Yeah.
And even freestyling and like getting, I don't know, I guess my brain more online with just like a creative flow that's just like non-stop and continuous. It's just like I'm allowing a channeling or something of like myself, or like anything, influence, channeling of influence of the whole elements, and making a record out of it. So just being a recording artist with sound, and then of course creative artist with art, paint. I mean, these wands, I want to just let it keep happening. That's like after I had this moment in time where I decided I would like to work on like opening a chakra, like aligning chakras, working on my energy body. All of a sudden, energy's flowing once that seems to have happened. Once I've like tapped into something of like, cleaning my body, making myself just conductive, eating the right things, like you said, like going 100% vegan. It just seems to have cleaned my whole body, taking that karma from killing an animal and consuming it, transmuting myself through, good action to people and being like fearless, having courage.
In India, they say like in order to awaken your chakras, the only thing you need to do is decide. Like when you decide to open a specific chakra, the universe will like align you to be drawn to the right practices, or like the right breath work, or the right food, the right yoga. And so how you were saying, like when you make that decision to open like a specific chakra, you feel it happen. Like that's basically proof of what the Vedic scriptures said all along. Just decide.
Yeah, and that moment when I did decide seems to be stuck with me.
Yeah.
Like after like my first time doing yoga, laying down in Shavasana, and the next thing you know, I'm in the most relaxed state. I don't even need to get high or drunk anymore. It's just like, that's it. Like I'm relaxed. Of course now, I don't really need anything, but every time we use anything, it's so fun. Like using like a bit of mushrooms or a bit of joints every now and again. What's not? Yeah. And then drinking herbal mixes with like different teas and coffee with different herbs.
people think like, oh, they'll hear about like self-love means like working out and like eating healthy and getting a good night's sleep, but they're used to like the immediate gratification. They don't understand the like delayed gratification. So it's like, okay, laying on the couch and eating a bag of chips feels better than having a green smoothie and like walking on the elliptical. But it's like, yeah, that feels better in the short term, but what's going to make you feel better in the long term? Like in the long term, not having like medical issues that you have to go to the hospital all the time for, like chronic pain. Like, yeah. And I think you set a really good example for me of like prioritizing health. And like instead of just having coffee, you have coffee with like cordyceps in it and like reishi powder added to it. And it's like you're not depriving yourself of the stuff that feels good or tastes good. You're just doing it in a way that's like leveled up for your health also.
Yeah, like honestly, how much have we learned about the universe? I've learned so much. Hey, kitties, see?
It's okay.
They're
Or you
just
just get
animals
like
getting
mad.
a little riled up right now.
She's laying in the sunlight and Domino like got in the way of her life.
Yeah. No, the cats are good.
Oh.
How much have we learned
Oh,
about
yeah.
the water? Just like how
so
interesting.
much.
They found so much out about water. I can't
Yeah.
get into everything. Like all I know is like it's very interesting and
Yeah.
yeah. So I mean like, and you're more interesting as a person like me. I'm
Yeah.
interesting as a person, as a question of freaking what am I?
Yeah.
As like the whole question of what is it, which is
Yeah.
everything that's around us. So it's both us in this like infinite like loop of like we have to of course find that out, but like
Yeah.
it's just fun to find that out. And the way
Yeah.
to do that is through, I guess, using yourself in your creative ways. The more you do with yourself in life and have life experiences, I guess the better you start feeling about your understanding, and then you just know that it's just a journey of understanding that maybe never ends.
Yeah. I think that's what it is, because even when the body expires, there's like consciousness that expands.
And it just amazes me just how other people who you meet in this life, just all of a sudden like you find those groups of people that are just the best people for you at that time, or like other people have been there at different times, but just when you realize the moment you're in and the people that are around you, and just like that they are that loving kind of people, and that it just feels so great because everything's happening that's just making you feel amazing. That's like
you're in the right place at the right time when you start attracting the right people.
Yeah.
Like you're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Like, they also say like your vibes attract your tribes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like look at you, babe. Like
you're like a magnet.
You were in like a position at work where like the superior was being like super micromanaging, nitpicky, rude, angry, like irritated all the time. But because you have such a high vibe, like the owners of the company like moved you to like an even better plant with like coworkers that you get along with, like friends, and like they're learning about crystals from you and like into it, and like you have fun and you get bonuses, and it's like when your vibes are high, like you still encounter like shitty situations, but when you know that it's not like why does bad stuff happen to me? Like why do I keep manifesting this crap? Like when instead you're like, no, how can I shift out of this? How can I raise out of this? Like you get these confirmations. And I think all the good stuff happening to us is that confirmation.
Well, yeah. So what do you say, or what they say about letting your music go to the grave with you? I guess. Don't let it go to the grave with you, and have fun learning your music. or I guess solo like performance, which I guess goes back to the one. So I guess that's maybe where the monks decide to just go and be like one.
Yeah.
So maybe it's good to be like both multiple and singular.
Yeah. The all in the one and the one in the all. That's like, there's a mantra in Sanskrit called the Purna mantra. It goes like, Om Purnamidam Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. And what you were describing just now, like, that's literally what that mantra means. It's like being the one and the many. And how it kind of translates is like the universe, or like all that is complete. But when all that is splits itself into multiples and takes the form of the singular, like the all comes down into the one, but the all still remains whole, and the one is also entirely whole. And when the one realizes itself as whole with the whole, both become whole. So it's about like enlightenment basically being like you realize your oneness with all that is and no longer feel separate, even though you're also enjoying like the play of separation.
It's all a dance.
It's all a dance. Oreo and Domino are both part of the whole, and like sometimes they forget that they're one with each other and one with all that is, and then they get fighty-bighties and go.
You know what? It's one's dancing with the other. And
yeah.
It's
They have fun.
They decide. Yeah, it's gonna be well, I'm chase you, and you're gonna be.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna have to. Chill out at some point.
I scratch you with my claw paws.
Yeah, they don't like go try to fight to the death like some
No,
animals.
they don't. Thank goodness.
No, and this isn't the wild.
Not
We're kind of
like
like
Domino,
civilized.
But Domino
and
was
organized.
like that with Jazz. When his eye got cut that time.
Maybe in nature, and because everything is in such a structured pattern, like throughout all the stars and everything, like there's different times when like things happen in the stars. Yeah, there's a cycle, there's like, obviously, so everything's organized, and everything above is so below, right?
Yeah,
so down here, it's organized too, like in the animal kingdom and within us, like, of course, like, it's not normal to have just so much chaos, because it seems to be an organized place.
Yeah.
But, beauty comes out of both of it, so, I mean, you gotta have...
that's true. You don't recognize the light unless you've seen the dark.
Yeah, and just like, there is such a complex, vast, unimaginably, unconceivable universe at work here that we just like have to kind of sit back and like enjoy the ride, and who knows it all? Like no one.
Nobody.
No, it's not everyone. People maybe have, elder people maybe can sound very like wise and stuff, and like everything from educated people that I've realized has been less than like easy to like understand from where they're coming from. Because I'm like, you guys seem to get some things, but like I get some things too. So but like it's sometimes unopen-mindedness.
Yeah. My mom said something once that I thought was like perfect to summarize like the kind of academic doublespeak, or how sometimes you talk to a very educated person and they're just parroting back what's in the textbooks. And she said it's because we live in a society with an education system that teaches kids what to think, not how to think. And so when you're kind of philosophical by nature and you like to ponder the questions of existence, and you expose yourself to multiple sources of information, not just like the mainstream, you expand your mind in a way that it gets hard to relate to people who just go by the textbook narrative. Like, did you ever see that movie Good Will Hunting? There's this there's this awesome scene where they're in the bar and Matt Damon's character is like overhearing like some like Ivy League dick like try to pick up the girl that his friend was with. And that guy was like trying to prove how smart he was by talking about a subject that he thought like these more like rough like labor working kind of guys wouldn't understand. And so he says, like, well, are you aware of the fact that, like, blah, 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 and starts, like, spouting out a bunch of, like, whatever it was. Like, maybe it was, like, theoretical physics or something. No, it whatever. Like, but Matt Damon's character is like, yeah, and I'm also aware that, like, blah, 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 and, like, started going off on, like, where that guy finished, and he said, but really, that's not your original thought, is it? You just quoted, like, the textbook from, like, the third year of such and such. Like, do you even know what you just said? Do you even understand? He just, like, embarrassed the hell out of this, like, asshole who was trying to, like, have a superiority complex because of his fancy, expensive education. But one of the cool lessons in that movie is that, like, there are people who are going to be naturally gifted, and they'll take a subject further, like, than if you just learn what others have said about it. And yeah, when you listen to these, like, so-called educated people talk, sometimes you're not listening to them talk, you're listening to them repeat. They all say the same thing.
But yeah, and they cite different sources.
Yeah.
Anyway, I hope this audio's coming in clear.
Oh yeah, me too.
I'm kind of like watching how we're recording, and sometimes I'm getting bigger bars and smaller bars depending on how we're talking.
Oh, interesting. Oh, so there might be some volume
Anyway,
issues.
I do have a plan. It's gonna be do some bass recording over this, and then some sort of a video. Anyway, this is part of our content. I thought we would just like include some sort of a speech bass guitar thing or something like that. Make it so it doesn't sound too loud over each other.
Right.
Yeah, what a Friday and start. Wow, 2023, the year of so much creativity. And this is 22 minutes and 22 seconds. I think I might have to wrap it up.